Here we go, episode number 3 of the Carnivore Entrepreneur Show. So I used to think that success in business was about working hard and having the right strategy. Grind, and have the right strategy to success. However, I've come to realize that it's not always about that. There are times where you've got to work hard. Absolutely, yes. However, there is also a huge need for clarity, belief, and focus. And a busy and confused mind is a huge inhibitor to having a healthy bank account or healthy business. So I'm going to take you back to about 2014, 2015, where I was at the tail end of this comfort trap that I was in. So in my previous marriage, like I said, I've always been good at making money. I was making about £40,000 a year, but there was just something that wasn't right inside of me. You know, I made the money for our household, and I used to go to work, and I was good at my job, really good at my job. And all the money went into a joint bank account. I got given an allowance. Each month I had to ask permission for me to be able to do anything in my life. It really sort of dawned on me that I wasn't living life on my terms. And I found this guy, Tony Robbins, and watching his videos on a regular basis that really sort of flipped this switch inside my head and started getting me to think more about what it is that I wanted. And this, like I said, was sort of tail end of 2014. My second son, Max, had just been born, and I was at a point where I wasn't really happy with my life. I had to ask permission for everything. I didn't want to have a third child, and my ex-wife wanted a third child, and I really did not want one. I think probably because we had 2 boys and she wanted a girl. So I really just didn't want to, and it made me search for stuff. And I was on this search for something, and I came across, like I said, Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins, it really resonated with me. And he talked about stuff like finding your true self, finding who you are, be true to you. And I felt like I wasn't being true to myself, and saying things, be who you were meant to be. And these are all the things that I was listening to. You know, stuff like state management, putting yourself into a really good state by using your physiology. Emotion equals energy in motion, like how to use your body to get your state into a better place, leading into getting your stories into a better place. Because the stories that you tell yourself inside your mind are the things that you start to believe, your belief systems. So if you believe really positive and empowering things, that will translate into your physical world. This is an old saying, but everything you think, you become. And Tony Robbins was starting to teach me this, and it woke me up. And beginning of 2015, I woke up and I started to do things that I wanted to do. I was listening to Tony, which was really getting my mind right. And it started taking me on this directional journey into a place where I wanted to be. And it wasn't clear at first. It really wasn't, because I started this journey and my ex-wife really didn't like it. But really what I was starting to do was I was starting to think for myself. My mind was getting healthier, so I was thinking for myself a lot more. I was thinking about, what is this going to do for me and help me? You know, little things like getting up earlier, reading more books, listening to more YouTube videos, starting to educate myself in different ways. It was funny as well that where I was in my job, things started going better in my job, but things started going worse at home. And I actually got kicked out of the house a number of times. I can't remember how many it was, maybe 4 or 5. But what would happen is I'd get kicked out of the house and I would be asked to come back, and I'd end up going back. So it was this like vicious cycle for a few months. I was being accused of things that I wasn't doing at the time. I had to pretend that I was drinking, you know, and she'd get angry because I wasn't having a drink. So I'd pour a glass of wine, pretend to drink it, and then tip it down the drain. If I didn't feel as good outside of my home at the time, I probably would have stopped. If I didn't see all the good things outside of my home, because inside the home, it was getting worse and worse and worse. And that's sort of where it led me to meet the love of my life, Kay. Work was going great, so I won a competition to Chamonix. And I met Kay in Chamonix. Again, we just started talking and got home and realized that I felt more at home when I was talking to Kay than when I was at home. Made me realize that I didn't want to be at home anymore. So the last time that I got kicked out, I never went back, and spoke to Kay, said I want to meet up with you. And within 3 months, I'd moved from West Sussex, where I was before, to live in Swansea with Kay. And that year, 2015, was the first time that I actually defined my purpose. I've always been the type of guy that wants to help people out. I've always been generous with my money, always wanted to see people smile, never defined that as my purpose really until 2015. And one of my earliest memories of me, wanting to help people was when my granddad became seriously ill, and he had a massive stroke and was in intensive care for a number of weeks. And I just wanted to be with my nan and granddad and help them get through this really, really tough time. I was at the hospital all the time. I went back to my nan's house and helped with the dog so that she wasn't alone. As my granddad was waking up and more conscious, he had like a tracheotomy in his throat, and I had this letterboard and he pointed at letters and nodded and things like that, and we made words so that he could communicate. But that was my real earliest memory of wanting to help people. So in 2015, when I sort of liberated myself from my previous life and my comfort zone, I was able to think about what my purpose was. So the first time I actually wrote down what my purpose was in 2015. I wrote it down as being the best I can to bring out the best in others. And I wrote that down, and that was what my why was. And then in 2019, we went to Unleash the Power Within. It was the first time I'd listened to Tony Robbins for years and years and years, and I sort of streamlined my purpose again. I defined it as helping everyone be successful. And that's when we brought that into the business. So our business became a business that is helping everyone be successful, helping people be successful. So it means the same as the previous one, but it's a little bit more streamlined and just a little bit more to the point. We brought that into our business as well because we help clients get the most from their property. So it really is in fitting with that, helping them be successful with their investments, helping my kids be successful in their lives, helping my friends and family be successful at what they do by contributing to their life. So it really did sit well with me for a number of years, that helping people be successful. And that's what drove me. So a better why can overcome any how. You'll do anything you need to do if you've got a good enough why. And that's where recently in 2024, I've redefined that purpose to be more personal. And again, that's probably where the Carnivore Entrepreneur has bred from, is I now have defined it as I want to help people live life on their terms, but more importantly, with strength, energy, and purpose. I wanted to just show you there how getting yourself a healthy mind can change the whole trajectory of your life and actually redefine the purpose as to why you were put here. And it grows and develops. The more my mind has grown and developed, the more my purpose has grown and developed. And actually, the more my business has grown and developed. It started with a healthy body and then grew into a healthy mind. Your mind helps your body and your body helps your mind. Your mind will help your bank account. Your body will help your bank account. And then actually, if you've got a great bank account, you can use your money to buy things that give you a better body and a better mind. But we'll talk about those in future episodes. I just wanted to take you through that and show you sort of how my story of figuring out my mind and my purpose has developed and grown. I'm sure during these episodes and years that I do the Carnivore Entrepreneur, because I just want to attract people that believe what I believe. Are you a carnivore? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you someone that wants to live life on your terms? If you believe what I believe, come on this journey. But the point is this is why I truly believe that looking after your mind, thinking empowering and productive things while developing and defining your purpose is another important pillar to living life on your terms with strength, energy, and purpose. The absolute biggest false economy to any business is I just need the right strategy. The strategic thing that you do to make a business work, if you get your body and your mind into the right place, you will find the right strategy. That's why we found the first strategy that we used to get ourselves out of our jobs. Remember, sometimes, and again, this is happening right now as we speak, the reason why I'm changing my focus from a business that we have now, our main trading company is called KG Short Stay. We specialize in short-term rentals, and managing properties for owners. Now, the reason why I'm transitioning away from that is because what got me here, the strategy that got me here, is not going to get me to where I've got to. And it's all because I look after my body and my mind that's helped me find this new strategy, this new system of the carnivore entrepreneur. You will find this in your life, that the more you get your body and your mind into the right place, if you have your mind right, everything else will fall into place as well. Get that right, and the right things will fall where they need to fall, and you'll see them. The right strategy is not the way forward. Getting your body and mind into the right place is. So the truth is that without a healthy body, you won't have the right energy, and without a healthy mind, you won't have the right focus or belief mechanics to carry it all through. Strategy is almost irrelevant without those two things. Remember these three things. Remember, number one, to live intentionally, not reactively. Number two, believe you can, not you can't. And then number three is to take action irrelevant of what others think, to be authentic. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm taking action on things that I believe, irrelevant of what other people think. There are going to be people that don't think the way that I think. That's fine. But I'm hoping that there are people out there that do think what I think and believe what I believe. That's who I'm talking to right now. Get yourself a healthy body, leads on to a healthy mind. Next time, we're going to talk about some of the things that I do and the reasons behind how I've got my bank account to where it is now. And don't get me wrong, my bank account ain't where I want it to be yet, but I've achieved a lot along the way, and I'm hoping that I can show people what I've achieved. You know, there are going to be people out there that have a bigger bank account than me but haven't got their mind and their body sorted. There are going to be people out there that have got their mind and their body sorted but just haven't got their bank account to where it needs to be. And there are going to be some key things along the episodes that I'm going to be giving you over the next few weeks, few months, whatever, that are going to be the ticket to unlocking whatever it is you want to unlock. What I want you to do is just comment below if you've had a belief about money or success that is holding you back. Something in your mind, if you believed something in your brain that held you back from making the money that you wanted to make. Comment below if there is anything that you can think about, because I'd really like to hear about it. And on the next episode, we're going to be talking about the bank account and the habits that you need to build wealth. Thank you for joining me on that one, and I'll see you on the next episode. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. You are a carnivore entrepreneur. Live life how it was supposed to be lived, on your terms, with strength, energy, and purpose. I'll see you on the next episode.